For today's session, let me first say a few words that the making of terrarium is both an art and a science. Not that difficult to understand. It is a science because you must set up a well-balanced ecosystem and the right condition that can support living organisms within an enclosed space. You must remember that once it is completed and closed, there is no outside interference. Plants are unlike us, needing 3 square meals a day. All the plants want is to be able to absorb the energy from the sun, a process known as photosynthesis to manufacture food. That is why it would require you to assess the position you are placing it to expose to indirect sunlight, not direct sunlight, or else the leaves will get scorched. We will leave all the blah theories to those expert gardeners to further research. We can now start on with the steps. As you can see from the video, there are a few gadgets that you can use to plant your terrarium. But bear in mind that if you are going to use a narrow neck one, you need to have special tools. Now, making the terrarium is not difficult. You first need a drainage layer. As you can see, yes, there are small pebbles. This forms the drainage layer. This is topped by activated charcoal, which will absorb any foul smell. Next comes the sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss is not absolutely necessary, although it is useful. It will expand, retain moisture, and will release the moisture when the terrarium is dry. Then, of course, we will top this up with cocoa peat. Now, cocoa peat forms the bulk of the planting media for the terrarium. To top that, we have lacquer. Notice that the black lacquer is used because it gives contrast better than the brown ones. Okay, so having done that, you will level the planting media and then you can start planting. Now you will make use of the plants that you have conditioned before. You notice that the plant here is a little bit too big, so you need to prune it to fit the bottle. Then make sure that the plant is firmly fixed. Having done that, we will take the Phytonia. Now this Phytonia is variegated. It serves to contrast with the green. Okay, you plant this. If the root ball is too big, then prune it a little. And then make sure that the plants are properly anchored in the potting media. Then of course, we will need runners here, and this form the ground layer. Okay, and what we are using are these little plants called Pile baby's tears. Now they are pretty fast growing and will fill the terrarium before long. Now we will now add decorations. Now the decoration that we have chosen here is, as you can see from the diagram, from the slide, yes, we will put all your decorations, particularly the driftwood, which gives a warm effect, and the plant may even creep on it. In order to stabilize the plants, you may add big stones, white in color, that serve as contrast to the potting media. Avoid using any colored stone which may pollute the terrarium. Okay, add more stones to ensure that your plants are firm and not wobbly. Okay, So your plant is now, the plants are planted. Then of course you need to add water, sufficient water to moisten the cocoa peat. So you have done, you have planted. Now you check and ensure that your plants are standing upright and you have completed a nice little decoration. As you can see, the plant, the decorations, and the potting media. Okay, you have done, having done that, you will put your lid on like that, not completely closed, and you leave this. You have just seen an alternative media that can be used for making terrariums and tabletop gardens. Although this is a cleaner method, the planting media comprising organic soil and compost can always be used. We have gone through the technique to start your collection and to condition your young plants. Also, the use of simple tools in the making of your terrariums. You have seen many of our creations and by now should be in a position to start on your hobby. Be patient and do not rush through because we are dealing with living organisms. And like us, they need the basic needs and the right atmosphere to thrive and flourish. Plants need light, without which they cannot photosynthesize to make food. We have come to the end of this presentation with a technique to create an environment conducive to maintain a healthy life form. Some of you may be adventurous enough to start keeping fishes, crustaceans, insects, and and ant hills, newts, invertebrates from the sea.